Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the ninth edition of Random Ramblings with Randomonium. I am your host, Randomonium, and I know what you're all thinking right now. Why is Random playing Thresh? Is this some type of troll Thresh jungle build or something? No, of course not. Today I'm going to play support. So why am I playing support? I'm glad you asked that question. So our team is going to be going through a lot of flux in the next couple months. Our normal top laner is going to be leaving for 2 years to do missionary work. And he's not going to have a computer for any of that time. I know what you're all thinking. That sounds like hell. And to be honest, I agree with you guys. 2 years without a computer definitely sounds like hell to me. But that's the sacrifice he's willing to make, and I definitely applaud him for it. And then our mid laner, he's just started a new job, and he's not able to play League as often as he would like anymore. So he's usually not able to make a lot of team practices. So that's definitely another problem that we've been having. And then our main sub that we have, who's a real whore because he'll fill any hole we need him to fill. He's been working a lot of overtime, so he's kind of not been able to play as much as he would like anymore. And then to make matters even worse, I'm going to be really selfish here in the next couple months, and I'm actually getting married on August 16th. So for most of August, I will be unavailable to play and unavailable to stream as well. But so today, we're actually going to be trying out 2 new people. We're trying out You're a Cutie in jungle, and we're trying out Akon the Kid in mid. And just so you guys know, we're recruiting. We're still actively recruiting new people for our team, and we're recruiting people in every single position. Because our goal long term is that we actually want to have multiple teams. We want to have sister teams that work together, that scrim together, that practice together, and that get better together. So if you're interested in that, definitely click the link that I'm going to include in the description of this video. And hit me up. We'll play some games. I'll try to see if I can find a spot for you guys. So anyway, let's get into the game. Our matchups, we've got Gnar in the top lane. Pantheon's going to be in the jungle. And Vlad is going to be our mid laner. Jinx will be our ADC. And Thresh will be our support. And we're going up against a Teemo top lane. Poppy in the jungle. Lissandra mid. And Vayne as their ADC. And Braum as their support. So right now we're already getting some pretty good trades in mid lane, and I think that Vlad's getting the better of this because Lissandra's burning through a lot of her mana. So our jungler comes through, he realizes he's not going to get the gank, he just kind of does a flyby here to pretty much let him know that he can gank here. So anyway, let's talk our jungler real quick, because he's kind of done an interesting route here. So he started off Gromp, and then he went blue, and then he went Scuttle Crab, and then he came down here and ganked bot lane. It wasn't didn't result in any kills or anything like that. And then he came up and ganked mid lane and didn't get anything off of it. And now he's coming to red. So once he gets red, he's now going to come down and he's going to grab Scuttle Crab. So he's going to go get one Scuttle Crab and get the other Scuttle Crab. And then after that, he's going to come up here to gank for mid as well. So that's all good stuff, right? You know, he's getting vision for the team. He's ganked. He's already ganked bot, ganked mid. Now he's trying to gank top. But it's not really resulting in anything beneficial for the team. The gank bot was actually the best out of the 3 because they were actually pushed up. We got some damage on them. The gank mid was not going to work, period. and the gank top was not going to work, period. So he wasted all that time. So here, I'm going to just pause for a second so I can finish this thought. So now, we're in a situation where we're 5 minutes into the game, and our jungler is already a level behind their jungler. And he's about 150 gold behind. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? You know, it's okay for the jungler to take a hit on his farm, take a hit on his experience if he's getting something out of it. But it's got to be a conscious choice. It has to be a really well thought out decision as to, okay, I understand that I'm going to fall behind in farm and I'm going to fall behind in experience, but this is what I'm getting out of it that's positive. And I'm not sure if he's done that, because I think his intentions are good, but he needs to realize that if he falls too far behind in farm and experience, his ganks are going to become less and less effective as the game goes on. So anyway, Poppy comes up here to gank, and thankfully Pantheon's right here to assist. So we can see how this plays out. This is a good pull by Vlad, and then zoning, right? So they get some good damage on Poppy and they back off. That's exactly what you want to do. So Poppy goes back to farm her jungle, but Pantheon's going to come down here and gank again. So this is his 4th gank, and it's, 5 minutes, 40 seconds in the game. So that's a lot of ganks. That's pretty dang good. I land a great hook onto Vayne. Alright. So we might have just missed that, but I land the hook onto Vayne, and then I immediately go into my Flay. But Pantheon uses his stun at the exact same time, so they cancel each other out, kind of. You only get the one CC. So it's better when you have multiple forms of CC that you chain them together. So it should have gone, I hook, then I Flay, then Pantheon stuns, or it goes, I hook, Pantheon stuns, then I Flay. That way we get the max amount of CC, and we probably would have got the kill off of Vayne. And then she flashes to avoid these chompers as well. So that would have been a 4th form of CC that we could have got. So that's not really anybody's fault. That's just communication issues that we need to work on. But we were able to get the flash off. And we were able to get a lot of damage, both on Vayne and on Braum. So that was definitely a really good gank. Meanwhile, our mid laner got ganked as well. So Poppy comes in here. Alright, so Vladimir's playing pretty far up, and then Poppy comes in for this gank. So Lissandra comes forward, and basically it's going to be a 2-on-1. And you can see how this is going to play out. He pools, Lissandra flashes, and then Poppy comes in and gets the kill. So I'm going to back this up real quick. Alright, so we see the Poppy's coming in to try and gank us. So instead of running this way towards the Lissandra, where she can possibly engage, if he runs either down this river, or even if he runs back to turret, that's actually better. And then when Poppy moves to try and charge him, he can just pool underneath the charge and escape. And he probably wouldn't have even needed to blown any summoner spells for that. But he could have, if he really needed to, he could have blown flash or something to get out of it. But running away from the gank is not always the best option if you've got an escape. And you'll actually see Gnar do this later on. But yeah, so that death probably could have been avoided if he moved back up the lane rather than towards the Lissandra. And then he used his pool a little bit too soon. So they get first blood, but that's not a huge deal, right? Alright, so Pantheon sees that Lissandra's low and she hasn't backed. So he's going to come up here and he's going to try and gank her. Alright, so I'm going to pause before this gank happens. Level 6 Lissandra, level 3 Pantheon. Yes, she's got low health, but it's a 3 level difference. And Pantheon doesn't have Heartseeker Strike. He's got 2 points in Spear Shot and 1 point in his Aegis of Zonia. So, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to be able to kill her? So he flashes, jumps, leaps, and right there, he cancels the auto attack animation. If he lands that auto attack, he kills her. But he takes at least one more tower shot because of it. So he probably could have gotten that kill. But I like the fact that he's conservative and he backs out, right? Because one more tower shot, that would have put him really freaking low. But if Pantheon was level 4, that would have been a kill, right? If he had had a point in Heartseeker Strike, that would have been a kill. Also, if he had backed at any point, we're 6 minutes in and he still hasn't backed, if he had had Chilling Smite, that also would have been a kill, right there. So that's the consequence of having that much presence and ganking that much, is that sometimes it's going to wind up biting you in the butt. And you're not going to be able to get that killed when it's really, really easy to get. Alright, so we're kind of in a little bit of a lull here. But we're continuing to push this lane, continuing to get some damage on the tower. But actually our Jinx is behind, which is definitely kind of unusual for this part of the game. Usually our ADCs are just dominate the early game. So either, I don't know, maybe their ADC is really good, or maybe our ADC is kind of having an off day. I'm not sure which one it is. But our top lane is just dominating. That's almost a 20 CS difference at 7 minutes in the game. That's fantastic. So mid's continuing to trade. Sandra's playing very aggressive, and she's burning through her mana. So Vlad's going to win this in the long run. As long as he continues to vamp up and keep his health high, he can definitely out-trade Lissandra. So the big thing is that he's got to keep his health up. You know, use that transfusion as often as possible. Alright, so you can see right here, Poppy's on this ward. He knows it. So he backs off. That's good. Alright, so Poppy was on that ward for a while. So we know that she's in this area, so we're actually, since we're pushed up in bot lane, we can actually rotate to gank her pretty easily. So we have Pantheon rotating down here, and we've got Jinx and Thresh. We're going to rotate up and gank Poppy. So Poppy starts to run, we collapse. She almost gets on the Chompers, but then she runs around them. I land a good hook, and then go right into the Flay, and then even though she flashes, Pantheon gets his stun on right away. So we get 3 forms of CC. So we did it right that time, right? We did the hook, then the Flay, then the stun. And then we followed up with the Chilling Smite and able to get the kill pretty easily. So, and then Lissandra rotated down. She actually beats Vladimir to the rotation. So that's definitely not good, right? You usually want your guy to rotate faster. But it actually winds up being an advantage in our favor because now she's really caught out. So, Vladimir doing his best. So I think he went in a little bit too hard here. He knows we're rotating back up. So he doesn't need to try and get this kill on his own. He can back out and let us finish. All he needs to do is just stall for time. So he has to flash, but that's fine. I land another hook, which was actually pretty easy because she used her ult on herself. But I land that hook right as she comes out of her ult, and then we get another kill. So we get a pretty easy double kill just because we out-rotate the enemy. So we can see that our Gnar is continuing to dominate this lane. He's now up to over 20 CS difference, and it's growing every minute. So fantastic job by her to do that well in top lane. This isn't our top laner here. This is actually our normal support, Kim Possible. She's actually our support. She's doing a really good job in top lane right now. Yep, continuing to win, continuing to bully the Teemo around. You can see that we're still getting trades here, mid lane. The Pantheon's beginning to vamp up. So Poppy's finally rotating up to top lane. And Nara really hasn't been using them any wards. But remember earlier when Poppy came up to gank and Vladimir kind of ran into the 2v1? So let's see what happens with Gnar. He just uses his hop, his escape. So Vladimir can do the same thing with his pool, right? Poppy comes in, pool under, and you can escape pretty easily. And then this is a really subtle thing, but this is actually really good. Because Teemo's got that passive move speed boost on his W, her hitting him with her boomerang, actually it cancels out that move speed boost, and it slows on top of it. So now it's not a 2v1, it's a 1v1. There's no way that Teemo can engage. And that allows her to get a favorable trade off on Poppy as well. So she does a ton of damage to Poppy. So they're both pretty low, but they're wisely backing off. Alright, so this is actually timed really well, right? Right as Gnar goes Mega Gnar, Pantheon's going to come in and ult for the tower dive. So that's a great play, actually. That is fantastic. That's exactly what you want to do. But I'm going to slow this down. So Teemo flashes, which prevents the Gnar ult, which basically would have killed him right off the bat. So now we're in this turret dive situation. Gnar's got the aggro, which is exactly what we want, because he's the tank. And then we're going to use Pantheon to get the kill. But we kind of misplay it, and Gnar moves out of range. So now Pantheon's getting focused by these towers. Gnar probably could have taken at least one more tower shot. But you can see here that Pantheon's going to get this kill with a spear shot. Then he follows up with a Heartseeker strike, and that causes him to take another tower shot. And then Poppy rushes in, and he takes in even more tower shots, and he's actually going to wind up dying. So because we didn't juggle the turret aggro properly, and because Pantheon kind of went for overkill and got the Heartseeker strike out, he died. And he probably could have gotten out of that because his flash is still down, but yeah, he probably still could have gotten out of that. Or at the very least, he could have gotten the kill on Poppy before he died himself. And then this I don't like. This flash into engage, because the best case scenario is that his leap is still down, right? So this is going to be a one for one. There's no way that she's going to get out and not die. So she might get the kill, but she's definitely going to die because of it. And it actually winds up that Gnar is actually going to die before she's able to get the kill. So we give, actually Teemo gets the kill on that, which is kind of odd. But we give Poppy a kill and we give Teemo a kill. Because this is a great idea. This tower dive was a great idea, but it was just poorly executed. So that's something we definitely can work on though. So our Vladimir's forced Sandra out of lane, so he's going to get some damage down on this turret. Alright, so Vladimir's got a pretty good advantage right now. He's got a level But it looks like Lashandra's about to level up, so it's not huge. He's got about a half level lead on her. So this is a pretty good trade so far. Vamping up nicely. So she engages, alright? She's the one who starts this trade, and this is a great ult by Vlad, and then straight into pool. And then he's able to get the kill. And then even though the Knight's taken down, all he needs to do is transfuse, and he's able to stay alive. So that was a very well done trade by Vladimir. Alright, so Pantheon's going to continue trying to gank, and he kind of runs into Poppy. We can get this little trade going on. Wise for him not to go into that bush there. And then he comes down here, and he knows that Poppy's still around, so he puts a ward there. That's awesome. That's a great ward placement. That's one of the prime locations you want to get a ward down in the enemy jungle. So very good job by him. That gives us a lot of vision for bot lane. So down here in bot lane, I haven't been paying that much attention to it because I'm trying to focus on the people we're trying out. But we've been out trading them pretty much the whole time. So we're able to push down the tower pretty well. And we decided to go for dragon. So I don't like how quickly we start this dragon. There's no reason to start it this fast, right? So normally you want to clear out the ward vision, you want to get wards behind dragon before you start it, because that puts you in the best chance of success. The only reason why you would rush a dragon is if you just killed someone and they're about to come back off death timer and you're worried about them getting back to dragon before you can finish. So there's no reason to really rush this. Yeah, because they have vision this entire time, and I finally get the ward cleared out. But I don't have any wards back here, so we don't really have vision on their team. And they definitely have better vision control than we do. So Jinx actually lands the Chompers there, and we're trying to engage here. Actually here, I'm going to back up real quick, because this is a really subtle thing, but it's a very important thing. We're going to go back to up here to Vlad. Lysandra. So Lysandra gets a ward, and so does Vlad. But Lysandra doesn't stay to try and clear out the ward. She just rotates down with her team. Vladimir stays to clear out this ward, and that's actually a mistake. Because now he's separated from us. And it kind of puts us in a precarious position. Right? So you can see what's going to happen here. So Braum gets off this ult, and Pantheon pretty much gets popped right away. Between the Braum ult and the Poppy dive, he gets popped immediately. So Poppy ults me, which is really smart on her part. Now she's immune to damage. So that's what Poppy's ult does, for people who don't know. She is immune to damage from everyone on my team except for me. But because she's low, our Jinx keeps attacking her, our Vladimir keeps attacking her, keeps using spells on her, and it does nothing. It's doing no damage this entire time. So all of our damage is negated that entire time, which allows them to get a kill onto me, and then also is going to allow them to get a lot of damage onto our ADC and a lot of damage onto our Vladimir. So yeah, we are able to get the kill off, and we're able to get a kill on Braum, but Vladimir winds up dying. So it winds up being a 2 for 3, mainly because of mistakes we made, right? Focusing the Poppy when her ult was on, rotating late to from mid down here. That definitely was a team fight that we could have won if we had played a little bit better and we had a little bit more better communication. Anyway. So after a big team fight like that, you kind of get into a reset period. Nar's continuing to do great things in top lane. CS differential is now about 35. And he's going to start to push down this tower. So we've already got a 1 tower lead, and we're actually pushing to get a 2 tower lead now. And we've got a lot of damage on mid tower as well. So we're in a pretty good spot right now to actually get a sizable lead moving into the mid game, because we can knock down both their tier 1 towers, and that gives us a lot of global gold. So one of the things that I really like that Vladimir is doing is he keeps buying pinks. Like every time a pink gets cleared out, he buys another pink. The bad thing he does is that he keeps putting the pink in the same spot, right? He's being a little bit predictable with his pinks. So here's a fight over the pink. So, alright, at this point, Lissandra's in her ult. It's kind of a 50-50, right? Vladimir's got about the same health as Lissandra, and both me, Pantheon are rotating up. So there's no reason why Vladimir needs to stay here. If anything, he should just back off and try and bait her to come down. Like, yeah, they've got a ward here, but we didn't know that at the time. So him staying here is actually kind of bad, because it's going to allow her to get the kill, so we trade the kill. If Vladimir had backed off here a little bit, we would have definitely got the kill on her, but Vladimir probably wouldn't have died. So definitely keep map awareness on where your team is, and don't put yourself in a position where you could possibly die if you don't have to. Alright, so we know Teemo is dead right now, and his teleport's down. So we're going to rotate for Dragon. Actually, here, I'm going to back it up because I don't think I talked about this solo kill that Gnar got, which was actually a really good solo kill. So Gnar goes Mega Gnar. Gets the stun off, and then watch that. That's awesome, right? Gets the stun, then gets the Gnar ultimate off, and it's done right there. That's exactly how you want to play Gnar. So that was a fantastic solo kill, and that puts us in a great position because now Teemo's dead, and his teleport is down. So we have teleport advantage, and we've got the numbers advantage. This dragon. And if they try to fight it, Gnar can teleport in, and we can easily win. So there's not much that they can really do to stop us. Alright, so we're in a situation where we're in a 3v3. We just took top tower, so there's no reason why Gnar needs to stay top. So if we want to fight this team fight, we should be calling for a Gnar teleport right here. And that's definitely my mistake as a shot caller to not call for that Gnar teleport, because we've got we've got plenty of wards here, and then once Braum steps out of this area, we could have easily teleported here. This probably would have been the prime location to get the teleport off, because Gnar can come in and then just, you know, freaking deal tons of damage. But we decided to engage on this anyway, which is definitely a mistake because it's a 3v3, so it's a 50-50 scenario. We don't want to get into scenarios where it's like a coin flip, right? We want to have superior numbers or superior gold, something that gives us the edge so we can snowball. So Pantheon gets popped really quickly again. And now it's a 3v2. So now we're in full retreat mode. But I get stunned up and they get the double kill. So that definitely was a poor engage on our part. And like I was saying, either you back off because it's a 3v3 and you don't want to fight it, or you call for the Gnar teleport and make it a 4v3 so it's something favorable for you. So they're pushing pretty hard to get this mid tower, but this whole time this bot wave is pushing, right? So yeah, they're forcing mid, but we're doing nothing to deal with this bot wave. So that's definitely poor wave control on our part. And as soon as Vayne rotates here, Pantheon has to blow his ult to save this tower, right? So we give up one of our real good engage tools, this Pantheon ult, because we did not properly manage the wave, right? We should have anticipated this wave was going to push, and we should have had somebody waiting down here to clear it out before it even reached the tower. So now we've got the numbers advantage. That we're definitely dealing more poke to them than they are to us. So that's definitely good. And our goal is that we want to force down this last tier 1 tower. As soon as we force down this last tier 1 tower, that's really going to open up the map for us and allow us to start getting deep wards into their jungle. Okay, so Jinx lands this rocket. Doesn't kill anyone, but they're really low health. And this is a mistake that a lot of people make. You see all these low health enemies and you're like, oh wow, I can get a triple kill. So you can see that Vlad's going to rush in, he uses his ult, he pulls under, and he gets a kill, but he ends up dying because of it. So yeah, there's that possibility of that triple kill, but it winds up being a net 0 because Vladimir gets a kill, but Vayne also gets a kill back. So that's not good. That's not what we want. We want to get the kill and not have anybody die because of it. So we're just going to back it up real fast. Alright, so we'll wait for the rocket just hits. So look at these 3 people. They can't really do anything now, right? They're so low health that if they try to engage on us and they're not under tower, they're all going to die. So the correct decision in this case is not to go for these low health enemies, but to go for Vayne, because she's away from the tower. We can easily turn on her and kill her before they can react. And if they try to react, if they try to assist her, then they're going to be out of turret range and we'll kill them as well. So the easy way to get the 1 for 0 trade, to get the kill and not give up any deaths, is to go for this Vayne right here. So that's definitely a mistake on our part. Alright, so even though we, lost our Vladimir, we're going to continue to push, because now we've got Jinx, and that's going to allow us to take down this tower pretty easy. But they're continuing to try and engage on this, right? So Poppy ults me, so we can't do any damage to her right now, so we just kind of have to ignore her and just focus the tower. But Poppy gets this really great charge onto Gnar and knocks him back into turret range. So we take down the tower, but Gnar is getting chunked out really badly. You can see they flash, and Poppy's able to get the kill. So that was alrightly done, but definitely probably could have helped Gnar a little bit more in that case to avoid him dying. So, kind of start chasing Poppy, realize that's a mistake. and then we go back to try and push mid. So you can see, pushing mid, we've got all of our focus on mid and what's happening. We're getting a huge wave pushed in top lane. So yet again, we're failing to manage these side waves, right? We had a wave pushing in bot lane, but Vayne was already there, ready to go, ready to clear the wave before it hit the tower. So it deals no damage to the tower. Meanwhile, because we didn't anticipate it, we lost a lot of farm to the tower, and our tower took a lot of damage. Right now, this tower is at half health. So, yet again, poor job at anticipating the waves and having somebody there to push the wave back when needed. So this is actually a really good job by Gnar and Vlad to just keep trading, and we're winning these trades pretty easily. So Jinx almost gets this kill, but Lissandra flashes. So if she didn't flash, that definitely would have been a kill. So that's well played by Jinx. And it's forcing them to back off. Poppy comes in and charges and forces Vlad to ult. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this ult. I think this is more of like a panic move. But yeah, it gets Poppy to back off at least. So I guess that's good. Alright. This is fantastic, right? We've got Pantheon. They're all low health. Pantheon's coming in behind them. This is exactly what you want to do with Pantheon, because we definitely have this advantage here. So he lands. We get a hook onto Braum. Pantheon gets a kill, or actually, Jinx gets a kill onto Lissandra, and then we get the kill of Braum onto Vlad. So that was a perfectly done team fight. We cut off their ability to escape. We were able to get a 2 kills, 0 deaths in return. So now we've got a huge advantage. So you can see now, yeah, now we're up to over 3k gold, almost 4k gold lead. I have no idea what Teemo's doing here. I have no idea what he is hoping to accomplish by this. But those 2 deaths also allow us to get a 4th tower. So we come up here to sweep, and for some reason he decides to move. So we see him, of course, and we're going to get the kill on him. So that's just another free kill for us. So you can see now we're trying to ward up, try and get ready for Dragon that's going to be in 45 seconds here. Get Scuttle Crab control. So anytime that you take an objective like a tower, as you're backing out, you want to set up vision for the next objective that you want to take. And if possible, you also want to take their jungle camps if you can. So they've got Vayne up here in top lane, and they're continuing to push up mid, but this is kind of poor control of objectives on their part, because Vayne can't respond to Dragon, right? We see this Vayne up here, so we're just like, oh, this is easy. We can easily go for a Dragon right now, and there's nothing they can do to stop it, because Vayne doesn't have teleport. So if you're ever in this situation where you make the mistake of putting somebody on the far side of the map who doesn't have teleport, and that person can't get there in time for the Dragon, just don't contest the Dragon. It's just one Dragon. They're not going to win the game off of one Dragon. You can push a different objective. What would have been better is they just back off and Vayne continues to push. And if she had continued to push this whole time while we're trying to fight Dragon, she probably could have gotten this tower because of it. But instead, she rotates late, and their team starts to move to try and engage in an unfair fight, which is exactly not what you want to do. So you can see, we get the Dragon kill. Braum comes in with his ult. Vlad ults. we get the box down, and we pretty much almost immediately start chunking out Braum. And that's not really good to try and chunk out the tank first, but we make it work because it's just a really unfair fight. Just now, Teemo's showing up for this fight, so it actually was a 5v3 that we were engaging in. But I really like this play by Vlad. So he pooled under Braum, and then he came up and just immediately started soloing Lysandra because she was low health. And that's exactly what we do. We're completely taking Lysandra out of this fight. So the only person who's in this fight is Braum and Poppy. Alright, so Poppy gets her ult off on Gnar. So the only person who can deal damage to Poppy right now is Gnar. So when this happens, everybody should be backing off. So just stay away from Poppy. You can see, like, Jinx is backing up, Thresh is backing up, but Pantheon keeps engaging. And so does Vlad to a little bit. There's nothing you can do to stop Poppy at this point. You have to wait until her ult wears off. So you can see Pantheon tries to jump to get the stun, and it doesn't stun Poppy because she still has her ult active. So he should have saved that stun for when the ult ran out. But she continues to run. Great zap by Jinx to slow her. Her ult wears off and allows us to get the kill. So they never should have fought that team fight. It was a 5v3, and we ended up killing 3 of them because of it. And that puts us in a huge advantage, because not only did we get Dragon, but now we can start pushing another tower. And they really can't do much to stop us. So yeah, you can see they're trying to poke a little bit, but they really can't do anything to stop us from taking this tower. Alright, so tower goes down. There's nothing to fight over at this point, right? 4 of us, 3 of them. So them trying to engage on us, there's no reason to do it, right? The tower's dead, just back off and don't engage in an unfair fight. But they try to engage on us, and look at this, we almost instantaneously kill Teemo. And actually, if Braum didn't have his E active, we would have killed Teemo with that one. And then you can see as soon as Lysandra comes in, oh yeah, we're going to back off now. So we played that correctly, they did not play it correctly. So we're going to hide here in this bush. This is kind of clever. We're going to try and see if we sweep it. We know there's not a ward there. We're going to see if we can try and bait them to come in and engage on Jinx maybe. But they're smart enough not to. But because we have superior ward coverage, right? We got ward here, ward there. Like every single brush is warded in their red side jungle. Like they can't go anywhere in their red side jungle without us knowing. So we see the poppies up here taking red. So we're like, alright, well we're going to clap some Poppy and kill her. So we land, Pantheon lands a stun. And there's no real need for Pantheon to overstay here. So Pantheon ends up dying, but Poppy dies as well. So right now, Braum and Teemo are in no position to assist in this team fight. So yet again, it was a 5v3. And then when Pantheon and Poppy die, it's now a 4v2. And we've got a pretty sizable gold lead, an 8k gold lead right now. There's no reason why Lysandra and Vayne should try and engage on this. But they do, and Lysandra gets off a really good ult. I mean, this is dealing a lot of damage to our team. But you can see, we're able to kill Lysandra, able to kill Vayne. And then, so now, yet again, it's a 4v2. So they just keep filing in one by one, and we're going to just keep cutting them down one by one. So if your teammates die in your unfair fight, don't just keep giving the other team kills by filing in one by one, because we're going to win this, right? 4v2, even though we're low health, we're still going to win this. So Teemo flashes to try and get the kill. Yeah, he gets the kill, great. But we wind up getting another double kill and then ace. So because of this ace, we're now about 9k up, and the enemy team is going to surrender right here. So this is pretty much the end of the game at this point. So I'm going to go over real quick, good and bad for each person. So starting with our top laner, what she did badly in this game. So yes, she normally doesn't play top lane, so I'm taking that into consideration. The biggest thing is that she only had one good Gnar ult the whole game, right? The only one time that she was able to successfully land her Gnar ult was this solo kill up here. And then on top of that, she didn't use teleport once to really assist in a team fight or a gank. So that's definitely something that you should always be looking for as a top laner is, hey, when can I use my teleport to try and, get a cross-map play? And then on top of that, she didn't really ward that much. She didn't get punished for that much. She only got ganked once, and she's able to escape. But ward coverage was definitely lacking on the top side. So for our jungler, one of our guys who's trying out, so for the bad, he's not being efficient with his jungling, right? We're at the end of the game here, and Pantheon's level 10, and Poppy's level 11. We've got Jinx at 12, I'm 11, Nars at 13, Vladimir's at 12. So he's 3 levels behind our Gnar, and he's the lowest level in the game, even now. So this entire game, he was always a level behind, at least with people, just because he wasn't being as efficient as he could be with the jungle. Additionally, he could have done a better job with warding and denying ward coverage. You can see here that Trinket not upgraded, right? Trinket not upgraded, Trinket not upgraded. So you always want to upgrade these trinkets at level 9. That's something that we definitely look for. Is the trinkets are, if you upgrade this trinket, not only do you get an additional charge, but your wards last for a minute longer. So getting that upgrade is super important. And then always as a jungler, you should be trying to buy ping, screen, wards, warding up as much as possible. The other flip side of that is vision denial, right? They had a pink ward in this bush and a pink ward in this bush. This pink ward lasted pretty much the whole game. We never cleared it out. And this pink ward lasted over 7 minutes before we found it. So that's really one of the big things with the jungler is you always want to be checking these common areas for pink wards to try and clear them out. Because they had vision of this dragon pit for 7 minutes. There's nothing, every single time we had somebody moving in this area, they had vision on it, and we didn't clear it out. So, alright, good stuff that the jungler did. Amazing job with the ganks. I mean, he had a ton of pressure ganking. He ganked 4 times, rapid fire. The gank that he did, bot lane, were great. Those are his best ganks out of the group. Both ganks he did bot lane in early game. And that tower dive that he did top lane, that's a fantastic idea. And that's definitely something that I'm going to go back and that I want us to continue trying to do. It was definitely kind of poorly executed, but I think that's just a lack of experience or anything, but the intention was good. That was definitely a really good idea to try and go for that dive, and I like that aggressive ganking. And then the other time that he really used his ult effectively was this team fight mid, and that was a really awesome ult that he used to help really, win that team fight. For our mid laner, who's also one of our new tryouts, he didn't really roam the whole game. He just kind of was in mid doing mid things, and he didn't really impact the other lanes. Yeah, he kind of was getting the better of the trades, but it wasn't he wasn't dominating the lane or anything like that. And then whenever there was something going on, like around Dragon, um, he was always slow to rotate. Lysandra always beat him to the rotation. So that's something that he can work on with his map awareness to try and look for opportunities to roam and gank, and then also try to make sure that he's always first to the rotation to help his team for team fights. What he did really good though was really good warding. Bought a lot of pinks, kept wards up, did a really good job trading. Um, One of the things that I'm going to say is about our mid laner is let's look at the CS, right? He was doing very well compared to Lysandra, but compare him to our Jinx and our Gnar, and he's really far behind. So for our team, he's definitely behind compared to what we're used to with CS numbers. So that's something that he can also focus on. For our ADC, his chomper usage was pretty bad. I think he hit like maybe once or twice with his chompers the whole game. So the other thing is that Vayne out CS'd him for a good portion of the game. And that's something that definitely shouldn't happen, especially with Vayne, because she's a late game hyper carry. Jinx has got a huge advantage over her early game. So definitely should never have a Vayne out CS you. And actually our top laner really dominated compared to our ADC, had a huge CS advantage over our ADC, and it wasn't until the very end of the game that our ADC caught up. So that was bad. For good, did a great job trading. Like, always won the trades in lane, and was really good at following up and getting that kill on that low health enemy. Ended up being 7-0 and 8. That's fantastic. So really good job by him to get that kill, to get those good trades off. For a support, that's me. I'm usually pretty good at calling rotations and objectives, but I need to be more vocal when we're in team fights and call out who we should be targeting. And then the other thing that kind of goes hand in hand with our top laner is that I need to call out when we should have our top laner TP into a fight. And that's something that I'm not used to doing, and that's something that I need to practice, is say, hey, top laner, TP to this ward right here, right now, and it's got to be, instantaneous, done, and we can definitely sway some team fights in that. For what I did good, I landed a lot of really crucial hooks. Like, yeah, I missed a couple, like when we were in laning, but anytime it was one of those hooks that I had to land for us to get the kill, I landed it. So I was pretty happy with myself with that. And then also, just with my CC, I was able to save our carries on more than one occasion. So I'm pretty happy about that. But overall, as a team, we did a really bad job at managing the side lanes, so top and bot lane. And those waves crashed into our towers multiple times, and we didn't anticipate that those waves were pushing. And we lost a lot of farm and a lot of experience because of that. And also our towers took a lot of damage that they didn't need to because of that. For what we did good, nearly all of our team fights around objectives were good. We had a little hiccup earlier in the game, but for the most part, team fighting, we did a fantastic job, and we did a really great job pushing objectives. We got those early tower kills, which allowed us to get a global gold advantage, which allowed us to kind of snowball the game. And then also, moving into the later game, really great job getting those forward wards into their jungle so that we can basically spot all of their movements in their jungle. So anyway, we're just closing out the game. And you can see that they're going to surrender here. So I hope you enjoyed that. And please, definitely, if you want to join our team, try to post your information, and I'll definitely get back to you. And maybe next time I'll be casting a game with you. So this is Randomonium, signing off.